the struggles of being debt-free. This is something that everybody is inevitably going to face whenever they go on this debt-free journey. And at least for me, I feel like it's going to be like stages, that you're going to be going through. And so the very first stage that I encountered was excitement. So as with anything else, you have this plan, you have this vision in your mind, and you're really pumped up to get going. And at least at the beginning, as you make those first few payments towards your debt, you might get a whole bunch of excitement, because you're like, yeah, I'm paying off my debt. But then it doesn't take too long that you're going to get to stage 2. And stage 2 is, am I making any progress? And so that's really the first big area of your struggles. Because if you have a large amount of debt, and large is really relative, for some people it could be more than 50,000, more than 100,000, and for some people it could just be a few thousand. And at least for me, a large amount of debt is going to be more than $10,000. Now, whenever I got started in stage 1, I was excited. But then as the months rolled on, I thought, wow, am I really making any progress? And if you have a large amount of debt and you're trying to pay that off, those payments that you made, it might really seem insignificant versus the total amount of debt that you had. And so stage 2 is a point where most people, I think, feel like they're not making any progress. And for some people, they might even give up at this stage. So that's stage 2. And probably the hardest struggle I think most people will face, because it's right there at the beginning. And stage 3 comes in when you're like getting to the flow. You're paying off your debt regularly, and over the months, you see it chip away more and more and more. And this is the point where you got to say to yourself, do I keep going? Okay, because you've already made it to stage 2, but now you're well deep into it, and so you got to make a decision now. Do I keep going, or is it just a lot for me to handle right now? And this is kind of like stage 2, but not, because you've already made progress, so you can see the benefits of you paying it off. But at the same time, once again, there's still so much left that you might reevaluate where you want to spend your money. And so that's stage 3. And then stage 4 is when you're to the point where probably more than 60% of your debt, okay, maybe 50 to 60, maybe 50 to 70%, maybe that makes sense for a lot of people, where you are almost there. And this is kind of like the danger zone, because the struggle here is like you made a lot of progress, you feel really good about yourself, and instead of just like paying off the remaining 30% or 20%, whatever you have, you end up spending your money somewhere else, and you don't get rid of that debt. And so that is probably like the final struggle, I would say, before you get to stage 5, where you complete your debt. You paid all of it off, and that is the best feeling in the world. And then there is a bonus stage on this. Stage 6 is going back into debt. So because now that you've gotten out of all this debt, you might feel like, okay, I got all this credit that I can use, I could go out and get more loans, and you end up back where you are. So this is an ongoing thing. So stage 6 is going to be a lifetime thing, where you're always going to have this temptation of getting back into debt because you have gotten out of debt. And so this is kind of like the stage where I feel you could make the most progress, because at this point, it's not simply just going on this one debt journey. It's basically a debt-free life, where it becomes part of who you are, and you don't really even think about it anymore. You kind of get to the point where you manage your money a lot better, you stay out of debt, and it becomes natural, it becomes a habit, because this is something that you have actually done yourself, and you've trained yourself to make this a natural debt-free thing. And so that is it for today's video on the struggles of being debt-free. If you actually had any other thoughts in this, or your own stages on your debt-free journey, be sure to leave that in the comments area below, and I'll see you on another video.